Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NewsNow's podcast this week. I would like to welcome Ron Baker, who is here to speak about an event that he's creating right here in Grimsby up at Southward Park on Mud Street. I was going to make a joke about music and moonshine, but it's called Music and Motors. And Ron, why don't you just give a little background and talk about what the event is first?
Well, we're really excited to bring this event to the Grimsby and Grimsby area. We're looking at it as a post-COVID, let's get back to some sort of normalcy. So what it is as the title somewhat alludes to, Motors and Music is a car show and music festival. So it's a one-day event, Saturday, September 4th, Labor Day weekend on the Saturday, and it's going to be a car show, car display, and then all afternoon long, we're going to have live bands performing on main stage.
And it's nice that it's Labor Day weekend, too, because I think still not everybody's getting away. Like, typically, Labor Day would be a bit of a getaway weekend to some degree, but I think there's going to be a lot of people looking for something to do to wrap up the summer, so the timing is pretty good, I think.
We thought that going in, and we're noticing that just with the response. On the car side, for example, we sent out, we do these types of shows, so we've got a database of car owners that come typically to our different shows. So I sent out an email to the database that on Saturday at 4 o'clock. The following Wednesday, we had 100 cars registered for the event. Nice. So there's pent-up anxiety.
With a max of 140, did you say?
Yeah, 140, yep. And we've hit it.
Yep. So just to explain that point, so, I'm sure there's some gearheads out there and just passive, people who like seeing a classic car or whatever. But just the fact that these are not run-of-the-mill vehicles, whether it's an 80, 90-year-old vehicle or something that's, a state-of-the-art machine, but it's a juried show, and like you say, people had to apply to get in. Maybe you just explain that process a bit.
Mm-hmm. All our shows are juried shows, meaning that all car owners register for the show. They have to submit key information, including images of their vehicle. Myself and a panel of judges then look at every single vehicle, look at those images, and then decide on the eligibility for that particular show. And we're looking for fit and finish. We're looking for quality rebuild. The good example is the oldest car currently registered to the show is a 1919 Ford Runabout. Now, obviously, that's been restored at some point and probably a couple of times in its life. It looks brand new. That's what we look for, that very unique, interesting vehicle that people are going to say, wow, the only time I ever saw that was in a Dearborn museum or something of that nature. And the concept of the show is a celebration of the automobile, at least the car show part. So it's not just the old cars. It's not just the classics or cruisers or muscle cars or European sports cars. It's everything, soup to nuts. This is the database from our registrations. The oldest 1919 that I've just talked to, the newest is a 2019 Miata. It's done up for track. It is an absolutely gorgeous piece, but equaled, between the 1919 and the 2019.
Something for everyone.
Exactly.
Right? Like I mentioned, the classic cars, your 50, was it 56 Chevy? Yeah, 56 Chevy.
56, 57, that's in
the sweet spot.
The sweet spot there.
Yeah.
And then you get into the muscles, so 63 to 72. And we've got a good variety of the key muscle cars, everything from the Mustang Boss 302s right on to the Super Bs and nice. Roadrunners and all that good stuff.
Now, you mentioned that you've done this before. Maybe a little bit of background on some of the things you've done in Burlington or other communities.
Yeah, I've been putting on car shows. My background is doing this, but doing it on the corporate side. I worked for the auto manufacturers for 25 years, doing exactly this type of thing nationally, internationally, and abroad. So I took the opportunity to start doing more consumer shows, and certainly Burlington was one of the first ones we tackled. I was actually asked to look at that by people in Burlington, and we put that together to an excellent result first year. We have done that 5 years continuously. We were obviously stopped by the pandemic. We will go back into that market next year, 2022. And over those 5 years, we built it to such a point that we had official 25,000 people at the 2019 show. Unofficial, according to some of the store owners in downtown Burlington, we have 40,000.
And is that a one-day show also?
That is a one-day show.
Yeah, that's a lot of people moving through, which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Grimsby show you're looking to develop as a permanent show. It's not like, and to grow,
Yes.
to the site sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The site is amazing. It is so wide open. It's like it was built for events with a lot of soccer and baseball, etc., which obviously are events in their own right. But I mean, the amount of parking area, which is, what does a car guy look for? He looks for pavement. So lots and lots of pavement, lots of good different spaces to be able to put unique displays. And that's one of the other things with the shows is no vehicle owner just comes in and parks. We completely lay out the whole show, and everyone has a parking space within that show that's already been approved by pre-registration.
Yeah. Okay. So now for people to attend, you could explain how and where they can get tickets. But day of, we've talked about having a connection with shuttles to both what the plan is right now, the downtown core and the Peach King Center. Maybe you could talk a bit about that, how you're going to sort of manage the traffic flow and ticket information.
Certainly. Yes, traffic flow or parking flow is something that we addressed early on. The park itself is very large, but we are taking out most of the parking spaces for the show itself. So that leaves me one very gigantic parking space, which will be for the general public at the top of the park, top being the west of the park. So for the rest, and we're promoting this strongly, that it's going to be come to downtown Grimsby, come to Peach King Arena, park, grab a shuttle up to the actual show. When you're finished, grab the shuttle, come on back down. Everyone won't stay for the day. On average, based on the other shows we've done, 2.5 to 4 hours is the average length of time that people will stay at a show. There is a beer and wine tent, so there's another thing. Local people could jump on that shuttle, have a drink, walk around, enjoy some music.
And a wide variety of food vendors too, you're mentioning.
And a wide variety of food vendors, all the typical ones, plus a couple of surprises. And, then jump back on the shuttle and never get near their car.
Very nice.
With regards to tickets, 2 ways of getting them. Either go to Ticket Bud and look up Motors and Music show, or you can go to our website, which is motorsandmusicshow.com, and that's with an N, so it's motorsandmusicshow.com, and there's also a link on that site to be able to get tickets. And there will be availability of tickets at the gate, but it's going to be the same system where it's scan a QR code, pay, and then walk up to the gate, and you have your QR code.
And we'll be able to just pop the website up on this screen when we're doing the editing. So
excellent. Just
to make sure people, can copy it down.
That N in the middle is never easy to say.
No, that's it. That's it. There'll be a nice connection for downtown. And at the DIA meeting this morning, we talked about sort of developing that and looking for ways to promote the community as a whole. As you're looking at a destination event, it's not a single community small event where you hope to get 500 or 600 people. You're looking at drawing from a 2.5-3 hour drive span where somebody hops in the car in the morning and comes to spend the day and, beetles around the neighborhood and, that kind of thing.
That's very, very true, and that is already reflecting in both ticket sales and in car registrations. We have car registrations from as far away as Orillia, Caledon, Oshawa, Brampton, Georgetown, London, Fort Erie. So when you think of the map of Ontario, that's one big circle of southern Ontario that we cover off. Ticket sales for admission to the grounds, we are reaching well into Toronto and Thornhill and those sorts of areas, as well as local.
I don't remember the ticket price off the top of my head, but maybe you could mention that.
Ticket price is $12 for adults and $8 for teens, and kids are free.
Okay. And you mentioned about I don't know if a heritage British vehicle group. I know heritage isn't the right term, but you could explain that.
There's a group out of Niagara Falls, and they're the Niagara British Car Owners Club. They have taken this show on as a task, and they are doing a brilliant job of bringing their members registered, getting their members registered, and the cars that they are bringing are phenomenal. Jaguar, for those that know the classic European cars, Jaguar XKEs, Morgans, MGAs, MGBs, MGB midgets, like all that sort of 40s, strong in the 60s into the early 70s period of a British, in some ways, British car superiority in the sports car market. Mm-hmm. So we've got a good selection of them coming.
Nice. I don't know if I know things have moved very fast, so I'm not sure what you could expand on the music side. If you can touch on any either styles of music, I don't know, excuse me, if you've got any bookings you could mention, or
I think we can let.
I did say, I saw on the promotional material you brought in, you got Riley Michaels on there.
Correct.
And when I saw that, before you leave, I'm going to get a copy of a Club West magazine. Geez, I think he was 16 or 17 years old, and we did a feature on him in the magazine. And I was over in his basement of his parents' townhouse over in Beamsville. That his mom let him convert into his pretty much a full-on studio. And he's been working it hard ever since. He
is quite a phenom. He has got what it takes. If the stars align,
and he works at it too,
and he keeps going, he will make it. It's he's a very, very bright young gentleman. He is very, very talented. He shared with me that, and he writes his own songs as well as
ground up. Yeah, he does everything. Yep.
Perform everything from Elvis to Bobby Darin. But the one song that he's posted on Shopify has got 60,000 downloads. Out for a relative unknown artist in Beamsville, Ontario. That's a nice start.
Yep.
So yes, we've booked Riley to be our opening act, our 2:00 act day of the show, and he'll bring a band in and give us a solid performance, and then we're going to hold back on the announcement of the main act probably for another week, and then let that sort of out of the bag too.
Very good. And the time of the show, of the whole day, I don't think we mentioned that in the travels.
No, we haven't. It's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And those are the consumer show hours. When
if you've done other shows, do other shows go into the evening? I'm just forecasting here, or spitballing. Like if it goes into, say, 2 days in the future, whether it's next year or 5 years, is it the kind of thing where you do a Friday night and a Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, or like how, what could you see unfolding?
Well, there's a couple different ways of looking at it. One would be to do a major concert on the Friday, let's say, or on the first night, and then do more what we're doing this year on the Saturday as more of the family event. So maybe a little bit more to the adult crowd on the Friday evening, open it up for the family event on the Saturday. That's one version. The other version is you do it one day and you go into the night. I was fortunate enough to work with the group out of Toronto, Republic Live, and they do the Boots and Hearts shows, country music shows up north of Barrie, south of Aurelia at Burles Creek, their property. And a couple years ago, they put on another show called Big Sky, and it was classic country music. So that was Alabama and Dwight Yoakam and those sorts of
big time
80s names,
big
stars.
time stuff. Yeah,
but yeah, big stuff, big time. And they brought me in to put a classic car show together with the classic music show, and it worked extremely well. People would watch an act on the main stage. The car show was adjacent to the main stage area. That act would stop. They'd repo for the next act. As that act ended, all the people would come over and then look at the cars, hang out with the cars, talk to the car owners. And then when the next act started, then everyone would migrate back over to the big field, including the car owners. So they got a free concert by being there with their car. So a little bit of both worlds. And how we handled that is the car show went till 6 p.m. And then we had a way of evacuating all the car owners that wanted to leave, but the other car owners that wanted to stay they knew that they had a window of opportunity at 6, I think it was 6 to 7, and then they were in till it was over. So we got about 50-50. Of the 100 cars, I would say 50 probably left at 6 o'clock, further to travel or whatever their agenda was, and about 50% of the car owners stayed and enjoyed the music till 10 or 10:30, whatever the actual day ended.
And from our very initial conversation, you mentioned, like, just with the setup and the space at Southward, that you see a potential for a larger scale event at some point.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As you know, we came at this very last minute, saw the opportunity post-pandemic or post-phase 3 or wherever we're going to be at that particular junction. And to that point, again, the space is large enough that whatever guidelines are provided, we will easily be able to obey those guidelines, just be responsible to whatever guidelines are set out by government, etc., because of the size of the space. If we need to limit the number in a particular area, the car show will be laid out and the music will be laid out in such a way that we just barricade it and put a people counter on it. It's very because of the large size of the space. But yes, going forward, there's a huge opportunity for the space to be a major venue.
Nice. Is there anything else that you want to mention that we have not covered? I think we've covered the fundamentals that I'm aware of.
We have certainly covered the fundamentals, soup to nuts, so to speak.
Yep.
We've talked community, vendors, sponsors, food, beer and wine tent, shuttle, cars, music.
Tickets and timing.
Tickets and timing.
That's it. Okay. The website will be, I hope, probably by now already been put up on the screen, but maybe to sign off, we'll have it popped up again. By all means, take a look at the site and browse around. There's a contact button or whatever if anybody has any questions for Ron.
Mm-hmm,
and good luck to you, Ron, and looking forward to building something really neat for the community up there.
Well, thank you. Really looking forward to it.
Great.
Very much so.
Thanks very much for watching, everybody. I can't go one whole show without messing something up. Anyway, thanks. See you next week.